moving forward. I mean, is he going to be effective, though? That's my big question about this, though. He's been out for an injury for a couple of months. Now you come back. Golden State has been just fine without him.
He's going to be effective.
I don't know.
Okay, Kevin Durant could literally come on the court and only shoot 3 times. The bottom line is, though, he's still going to be effective because you know that their entire defense is going to try to stop him. They're going to watch him like a hawk.
Of course.
And that's going to leave other guys open. I mean, sure, you got to obviously watch Steph Curry right away. But at the end of the day, though, I mean, it's like even like within like football. If there's like T.O. or, Randy Moss is on the field, you might have to put 2 guys on him. And at least that means someone's open.
Someone's going to always be open. That is the big thing for sure. I mean, keep an eye on that as, we can get closer into the NBA playoffs as a whole. We'll have to see if the Thunder are actually affected by it. Let us know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section below. And any other questions you've got for us as well, too, shoot them our way. If you want to know why Charlie's a Bears fan, I'm still been asking myself that question since day one. You can ask that, of course, in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that share button as well. I think we pretty much covered some of the big things we want to talk about right away. There's going to be other things we're going to talk about as well, too, as we move along with the program later on. But I want to move to the gentleman that's going to be joining us here, Aaron Rath, one of the many great people that we've got a part of the Brew Sports Network. He's going to be joining us here in just a second. So, of course, the NBA... Not the NBA, the NFL. I can't get my co-host names right. I can't get the sports we're talking about right.
It's all those R's, man.
I'm just basically a hot mess. That's really what it boils down to, I guess, today. But Aaron Rath joins us now here on Happy Hour. Aaron, a very good day to you, sir. Welcome to Happy Hour. How's your Tuesday going?
It's going better now that I get to talk more about sports, but Tuesday so far has been a good thing.
Well, that's good, Aaron. We're excited to have you a part of Happy Hour. So, of course, first and foremost, the NFL draft is right around the corner. People are excited about that. Still about 2 weeks away. And Charlie kind of teased this earlier in the show as well, too, talking about how the Broncos were one of those rumored teams to sign not only Tony Romo, but maybe also Jay Cutler, kind of a family reunion there if Cutler were to come back to Denver. But my question to you, though, is now that Tony Romo is off the market because TBS bought him out, what is Denver going to draft a quarterback first and foremost, or are they content with the guys they have? And if they don't go for a quarterback, who should Denver draft to kind of get them back to those playoff caliber ways?
Yeah, I don't think the quarterback was the Broncos' problem last year. If you look at the numbers for Trevor Siemian, he was right in the category of all the big guys that are out there now in his first year. His problem was his line of scrimmage, right? So I don't think adding Tony Romo there would have been an effective. So I was actually on that non-Tony Romo bandwagon of someone that the Broncos didn't need to pick up. So I'm glad that they didn't go there. I think the biggest thing that the Broncos need to address in the draft, and they've done some of it in the offseason and through free agency, is that offensive line, right? They're solid defensively. Offensively, they've got great weapons in the wide receiver position. They've got a decent running back who can run the ball if they have to in C.J. Anderson. But the offensive line has really struggled, and I think that's where you're going to see them go. If you look through the 85 billion mock drafts that are out there.
We've got about 14 of them in front of us right now.
Yeah, all from today.
Most of them have them going for someone like Forrest Lamp out of Western Kentucky or Garrett Bowles out of Utah, and both of those guys would be great choices for the Broncos.
Well, Aaron, I mean, that is a very good point. I mean, the offensive line is, in my opinion, the most underrated position in the NFL. I mean, we all remember, we've all seen Blindside. We all know what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
spoilers.
Speaking of quarterbacks earlier, Paxton Lynch, he was a pretty early draft pick you guys had last year. What is, the project exactly is he going on with him? Because everyone thought last year he was going to start, then Simeon came in and actually surprised everyone. But, the guy's got the arm, he's got the size. How long do you think until he finally gets under center for good?
So here's the way I see Paxton Lynch. If you look at his style of play, he was never an under center type of quarterback. And the offense last year was all about the quarterback being under center. And Paxton Lynch had a huge learning curve with that. But this year with Mike McCoy being the new offensive coordinator, whole new coaching staff for the Broncos, Paxton Lynch is going to be in the shotgun formation a lot more. And I think that really opens the playbook up for him a little bit more. And I think it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Trevor Siemian to have such an advantage on Paxton Lynch going into the season.
Talking with Aaron Rath here on Happy Hour on the Brew Sports Network. Keep those comments and questions coming. If you have anything for Aaron about the NFL draft or the preseason schedule, make sure to comment in the section below. Aaron, talking about the draft as a whole, of course, many are focusing on who the Browns are going to take number one overall. Myles Garrett supposedly would be the smart, logical, normal person thing to do.
Not supposedly.
But, really, I don't know why you wouldn't. Why would you not? I don't know. Aside from that, though, do you think that Cleveland is actually going to be smart enough to make this selection? Is it that hard to say Myles Garrett? Is it hard to write it on a card and hand it to the commissioner? Or are they going to completely screw this up and draft Leonard Fournette or a punter in the first round?
Well, see, you started that conversation with the Browns. I don't want to offend any Browns fans, but they haven't historically been good at drafts. I think this one's in the bag, though. Myles Garrett has even come out and said publicly, if the Browns don't draft me number one, I'm going to make them pay for it down the road. When you look at the top 32 across the board, he's the number one guy, defensive end out of Texas A&M, that just scores so high on all the points. There's no way that you could screw this up. I guess there is a way. They've done
in theory.
It is Cleveland.
In theory, there's not a way that they should screw this up. But, it depends on where their mindset is. Do they need a quarterback? Are they going to reach and take a quarterback at number one? They made that trade for Brock Osweiler, and then they've already said that they're going to cut him, right? So, they've shown that they're desperate. They're going after draft picks. So who knows what's going on in the front office of Cleveland?
And what does that say about Brock Osweiler, that the team would trade for you and then would rather cut you and take the cap loss instead of just, and then draft a quarterback than have you as their starting quarterback? That's a big old slap in the face to Brock, I feel like. But, we'll have to see.
In Brock's defense, though, no matter what people may say, that meme of that person with the Browns jersey, all the names on it, he technically is supposed to be on that list now.
Because
he is a Browns quarterback.
True. He is a Browns quarterback technically. So,
yep.
He's got to be added to that list at some point.
He may never take a snap, but,
Hey, he probably would still be more successful by never taking a snap than, other quarterbacks that have been on that team throughout the years.
I think he would rather have it that way.
Yeah, I think so. Less chance to completely ruin his career. Aaron, the other thing we wanted to talk to you about, of course, has to center around the NFL preseason schedule coming out yesterday. The Hall of Fame game will be the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. Lord willing, they're actually going to get the field right this year instead of just that, solidifying paint that they used on the field. But aside from the Hall of Fame game, there's a couple of other intriguing matchups out there as well. You've got the Chargers and the Rams playing, the home-away game at the same stadium for the very first time in the Coliseum, which will be a very exciting and monumental occasion for all of LA sports as a whole. But what are some of these preseason games that you're kind of semi-looking forward to? I know it's hard to get hyped up about the preseason, but there's actually some storylines kind of floating around out there in preseason football that I think fans might actually be curious to hear about. What do you have in that regards?
Well, for me, it's all about the quarterback position, right? There's so many teams that are juggling to try and get their quarterback position right. You have the Chicago Bears, who you mentioned, Charlie's team, which, again, I can't understand why anybody would be a Bears fan. But
okay, would you rather be a Bears fan or a Browns fan?
Ooh, that's a fair point.
Browns fan, I think. But, they got rid of Cutler. They got rid of Cutler. Where are they going to go? They open up at home with the Broncos there. You mentioned Cutler coming to the Broncos. You saw me emphatically shaking my head no, because I would sell every Broncos item I own if John Elway brought him back in the building. I think that's going to be a big question that's going to have to be answered in the offseason for them. For Dallas, they open up at the Rams. Is Prescott going to be the same Prescott that he was last year? When you finish looking out, week one, there's just so many teams that have quarterback questions coming into the next season that I think week one and week two are going to be huge for those quarterbacks. Week two, you got Minnesota at Seattle. That's going to be a good game. Anytime a team travels to Seattle, that's a good game. Those fans come out in full force and push things and take things on, So for me, I'm not a big preseason watcher. I watch it, I'll record it, I'll go back and watch certain players, but to watch it as a game in whole, to me, is I don't know. I have a lot of other things going on at that time, and so it makes it difficult. And then when you get into week 4, that's where they're getting down to those last cuts, and none of those games really jump out at me in week 4. It's week 3, and sooner. Week 3 is where you get all your starters. Big game for Kansas City. They travel to Seattle Seahawks. They'll take on there. And as you mentioned, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Los Angeles Rams in week 3, nonetheless, which means that it's going to be the game where you'll have your starters playing most of the time. So I think that's going to be a really fun game to watch. And I do believe that is going to be a televised game. It is. It'll be on CBS. So that's one of those televised games, and the NFL knows it's going to be a big game as well.
Now, really quick, Aaron, you mentioned C.J. Anderson a little earlier. Now, obviously, like you said, preseason's not the most exciting time in football. Probably most people watch it for the rookies and also returning players from injury. Now, C.J. Anderson, we all know he wasn't exactly the healthiest last year after signing that pretty big contract. Where do you see him returning in the preseason? Do you think he'll be at full speed, or do you think it's going to take at least maybe halfway through the season for him to get back to what we all know him as, a Pro Bowl running back?
I think it's going to take him a little bit, but they've got Devontae Booker coming into year number 2. I think C.J. Anderson, I like many fans. I get a lot of my information from following him on Twitter, right? And he says he's about down to game weight. He's about 5 pounds off of game weight. He still can't run, but I think we'll be okay. Devontae Booker's been solid, but going back to the draft, if those two guys that we talked about earlier in Lamp and Bowles are gone, I don't think it's a reach if he's still available, and that's a big if he's still available. If you see the Broncos go for a Christian McCaffrey, I would even say that it could be something that they would trade up 5 or 6 picks for, is a Christian McCaffrey, because he's so versatile. He can run the ball, and then when CJ's back to full strength, you stick Christian McCaffrey in the slot with 2 stud wide receivers, and you give the quarterback a ton of weapons.
And I think a guy like Christian McCaffrey is somebody that could come into virtually any NFL team and make an immediate impact, whether it be for the Broncos. I mean, we've heard him falling all the way to the Packers or even the Patriots as well, too. Hypothetically, of course, there's a chance that the earlier teams could take a risk on him. I don't know if you're taking a risk on Christian McCaffrey. I think anything outside of the top 10 picks is no longer a risk on a guy like McCaffrey. He's not a top 10 guy, but he still is a guy that's going to come in and change the entire formation and change the entire way that your offense runs in a positive manner, which doesn't happen a lot.
But he's easily a first-round pick.
Yes, I would be shocked if he falls out of the second round, but it's also a huge deal for any team that grabs him in the second round if he's still there. So we'll have to keep an eye on where he ends up going. So, Aaron, we appreciate you swinging by Happy Hour with us today. Where can people find you on social media to keep up with everything you've got going on?
Yeah, so they can follow me on Twitter. It's OT Sports Aaron. That's Overtime Sports. It's my own broadcast that I do. I cover local sports around here, so OT Sports Aaron. Or they can just look me up at Overtime Sports on Facebook, and I'm on there as well.
Well, Aaron, thank you for joining us, and I'll see you week 1. Hopefully, Von Miller doesn't break the human giraffe's neck.
It could happen. You never know.
All right, Aaron, thanks so much, sir. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Yeah, you as well. There goes Aaron Rath here on Happy Hour. Good to hear from him. Good to get the insight on the NFL draft as a whole. And we kind of wanted to get into the draft a little bit more here, too. I mean, as the NFL preseason schedules were announced. I mean, the only other thing that I wanted to mention from a preseason schedule perspective is the Jets-Giants game. I think that's going to be fun to see. Obviously, they play at the same stadium, so that's always kind of a funny scenario when that happens. But I want to see how Brandon Marshall reacts to playing against his old team but not leaving the same stadium. I wonder if he's going to walk into the Jets locker room accidentally and be like, sorry, guys, go across the hall to the Giants locker room.
See, that's what I've always wanted to know. Whenever you have the Jets and Giants playing each other at that stadium, who gets the away locker room? Are they any different, or are they hey, you never know what could happen. Let's make both locker rooms the exact same size.
Well, that's what I'm wondering though. Is do they? And I guess I don't know enough about what is it? The Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium, MetLife Stadium. Now, technically, I guess I don't know enough about do the Giants have their own home locker room and do the Jets have their own home locker room? Because I'm assuming you can't be interchanging.
It's a pretty big stadium.
It's huge, so I feel like you just have one away locker room, and then you probably give the Jets and the Giants their own.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me.
But
that way they both get their own facilities and their own personalized lockers and all that pomp and circumstance.
I just always find it funny whenever you see they'll decorate the stadium for that home team's colors, but it's it's gonna be half and half. whatever the popular team is in New York. I mean, right now I say it's the Giants.
I was going to say the Giants are probably the more popular team, even though neither team actually plays in New York, which is still annoying as I'll get out. But
right. That's a fair statement.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, how can you can't call yourself the New York anything. You don't even play in the same state. You're playing in New Jersey.
Yep.
Be the New Jersey Jets, the New Jersey Giants.
No, it's got to be New York.
Why does it have to be New York? Like Buffalo,
There's no room in New York to put a stadium.
They should be the New York Bills. Because the only team that actually plays in New York is the Buffalo Bills. So it should be the New York Bills.
That's very
true. Like, oh, you're actually in the state? Sure, you guys have earned it. Good for you. Oh my Lord! Send us your questions though. What your thoughts are about any of this crazy stuff that we've got going on. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and hit the share button as well too, so more folks can dive in and check out what we've got taking place here on Brew Sports. That's Charlie. I'm Baxter. We appreciate you hanging out here for happy hour. We've got our brews. I've got a Line and Kugel's grapefruit shandy. Rather tasty. I'm not a huge grapefruit guy, but I mean,
you gotta experiment.
It's getting me through the day.
You gotta try some new things.
I know, and you got the classic Blue Moon there. So I mean, here's to all of you wonderful people out there.
Cheers.
Cheers. Wonderful. Well, Charlie, you look at the NFL as a whole. Of course, the mock drafts. I'm slowly starting to get into the mock drafts a little bit more, and I know you're a junkie.
Wait, you're slowly starting to get into it.
Slowly, I'm trying not to
Mel Kiper,
I'm
Tom
not
McShay.
I haven't had a mock draft for this year out since week 1 of the NFL season last year. I haven't been that obsessed yet.
I'm not that bad.
I'm just now kind of starting to get into the party here a little bit, and I've got a couple of different ones in front of me, and I know you've got one in front of you as well too. And I kind of wanted to just compare some of the big teams here, some of the names as a whole, based off of who we've got. Of course. At least when I'm looking at across the board, I'm looking at one here from MyNFLDraft.com. Myles Garrett and Mitch Trubisky, the 2 picks for the Browns there at 1 and 12.
Wow.
Here on CBS Sports, Myles Garrett, of course, goes 1, and then Mitch Trubisky goes 12, among others. O.J. Howard also there, and Malik Hooker, but Mitch Trubisky, the big one as well, too, on CBS Sports. What about you?
Well, I mean, I think every single draft analysts will say that Myles Garrett should be your number 1 overall pick.
I don't know why he wouldn't be.
I have yet to see one where it's like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna put him at number 4. Because that's like, okay, the San Fran and the Bears passed over him. Because as a Bears fan, I'd be like, just take this off.
What are you doing, guys?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Pretty two popular guys, Mel Kiper and Tom McShay. Mel Kiper has the Browns taking Deshaun Watson at 12.
And I've heard that argument back and forth, because I know Mitch Trubisky's worked out with most of the NFL teams.
Right.
He worked out with the Bills a couple of days ago, but I wouldn't read much into that if you're the Buffalo Bills. Granted, the Buffalo Bills do have the 10th overall pick, so they could potentially pounce on him, but why would you if Tyrod Taylor's your quarterback? I'd like to think Tyrod Taylor's
the Tyrod Taylor really the answer, though?
Probably
Is he
not.
Really the long-term answer?
No, of course not.
I mean, sure, when he got that long-term contract, even all Bills fans like, what are you doing?
Well, he took a pay cut, too. He took a $10 million pay cut to stay
that
with
shows
the
you,
Buffalo
Bills. He wants to stay at the team.
True, or he just likes money, and he's just like, I don't care. You're going to give me money, so I might as well stay with you guys as well.
Right.
I'm looking at the other guys that could potentially go before the Bills draft. And Malik Hooker here on CBS Sports, Jonathan Allen, Taco Charlton, and then at least this one has
Taco Charlton that high?
to the Bengals, according to CBS Sports, and then Reuben Foster also the other one that's kind of fighting them there as well. According to CBS Sports, Mike Williams, Corey Davis, Deshaun Watson are the 3 big names that these draft analysts think the Bills could potentially take at 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Bills are going to be a train wreck no matter who they take. Corey Davis is one here off the NFLDraft.com again as well, too. I don't think you really need to figure out too much about this. I mean, Buffalo, it's been real, but no one cares.
Mind if I say my slogan?
Please do.
Wide right.
Wide right. There it is. There's your
I'm
token.
not even a Pats fan.
There's your token wide right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep, your pick will be wide right.
Yes.
Literally.
They will go to try to get up to the draft podium, and they'll just miss the podium. They'll go to give the jersey to the player and miss.
Yep. Roger Goodell's like, here, come shake my hand. He's like, nope, swerve.
Like,
going back to college, get my
got
5th year
him.
eligibility.
Seriously, get out of here, Forrest Lamp, if that's your real name. I'm sure that's not actually who they would draft. But who are some of these other big guys? Leonard Fournette, of course, is a big name floating around. I find it interesting, though, that the Jaguars are rumored to draft Leonard Fournette because they have T.J. Yeldon, who is a very young, talented running back from Alabama, is only, 2 years young in the NFL. Why would you draft Leonard Fournette? Or is it the case of he's there, so why not?
Well, I just feel like, you know what, Yeldon, he is a very decent running back, but Fournette has the size.
He's Maurice Jones-Drew of a couple of years ago.
Right. Yeldon, I mean, he can run, he can catch the ball, but, he's like, he's like a downgraded Reggie Bush. But Fournette, I mean, you're not going to send him down the field on a screen pass, but when it comes, running in between the tackles, you could, but when it comes running down in between the tackles, he can do it.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what Leonard Fournette ultimately is going to hope to do. I mean, Jacksonville has already got the wide receivers, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about Jacksonville already on the show several times. Like, Jacksonville's got two of the best young wide receivers, and Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson. But
that's if Blaine Gabbert gets hard thrown to the other team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but is Blake Bortles the answer?
Blake Bortles. My apologies.
I say, is Blake Bortles the man to get the ball to them, though? That's my big question, though, in all of this. I just don't. Blake Bortles, I feel like, is just so overrated and just like, all right, guys.
You have to keep in mind, though, I mean, last year.
He went to UCF. Nothing good comes out of UCF.
Yes, he did go to UCF, but keep in mind, not last year. The season before that, he was like one of the top throwing quarterbacks in the league. He had a really good year.
He was, yeah.
And everyone's like saying, "Oh, he had one bad year." Now
probably
it's like,
because he has to throw the ball so much in Jacksonville because nothing else good works. That's why guys like Drew. Why do you think Drew Brees leads the NFL every year in passing? Because he literally has to throw the ball every single play. They don't even punt on fourth down. They just make Drew Brees throw the ball, and that's their punt. But they still give him the passing yards.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had Drew Brees do a quarterback punt.
He probably could throw the ball farther than their punter could punt the ball. Drew Brees still has a cannon of an arm.
He does.
I think Drew Brees threw for 5,200 yards last year. Something just absurd. Like, Drew, what are you doing, man?
It seems like if Drew Brees doesn't have a 5 in front of his yardage mark, it's like, what are you doing?
It's like, Drew, you only threw for 4,900 yards last year?
5,208 yards, 37 touchdowns.
Wow.
And guess what? They didn't make the playoffs.
I say New Orleans still sucked
last year. They didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, that is just terrible. That just gets you right in the feels.
See, Drew Brees is like he's kind of like what Aaron Rodgers is today. Like, he should honestly have more than one ring, but
in theory, yeah.
Yeah, but because of what the talent he has around him, you can't do it on your own.
Well, that's a good segue though to the next topic I want to get to you with is in regards to Richard Sherman, because right now the Vegas odds has the Saints at a 3-1, the best odds to land Richard Sherman. According to recent articles from Bleacher Report and other reliable sources, Richard Sherman's asking price from the Seahawks is going down. If you remember last week, the Seahawks came out and said that they wanted a really good player and a good draft pick for Richard Sherman.
That really entire statement was in quotes.
So was any of it really real?
Little bunny foo.
I mean,
would not be surprised if Richard Sherman's actually doing this. Like,
I
am worth this much.
Yes, you will pay me lots of money. Just give him lots of beads and some Cajun sauce and call it a day. I mean, what are you gonna do to Richard Sherman? I think I would give up a second-round draft pick and like a decent wide receiver for him. Saints, I mean, but the Saints don't have anything to offer, though.
They had that chance, and then they decided, no, we'll get rid of Brandon Cooks for a first-round pick, which, you know what, it's actually a smart pick.
It is a smart pick, and I want to look here at the Saints roster because I don't necessarily know if they've got anything over here that I actually feel like they could trade.
I can honestly tell you right now, knowing their team, they really don't have a player worth trading, like the asking price.
I mean, would you trade Mark Ingram for Richard Sherman?
I mean, you probably could have, but the problem
is... Or Max Unger? They have John Kuhn.
Max Unger was, that's who they traded for to get Jimmy Graham.
Oh, that's right. How's that working out for him?
I mean,
you can't send him back.
I mean,
scandalous.
Yeah, I mean, you could trade Manti Te'o because they just signed him, but I don't know if he's worth Richard Sherman. Could you imagine that, though? Those rumors of, Johnny Manziel going to the Saints, too? If him and
Manziel and Te'o, and they decide to pull Tebow out of minor league baseball. Like, the Saints would just become the biggest media hub ever.
They're the meme team,
The meme team, yes.
Because, literally, those two guys are in the top of the Heisman standings.
Tim Tebow could probably come back and play tight end for the Saints, though, because Lord knows Drew Brees needs to throw the ball to somebody.
Hey, you know what? You can say what you want about Tim Tebow, but he's not doing bad at baseball right now.
No, 2 home runs, man. Timmy T has been going yard left and right. I mean, $75 for a Tim Tebow jersey though for the Columbia Fireflies. Don't know if he's worth that much yet to me. Now, if he signed it, I would pay the $75.
Wait till he actually gets to the the major leagues, and then the jersey's like $150.
Do you think he's actually going to go? You think they're going to call him up at some point? You think they're going to call him up for like a Subway Series on ESPN?
I just think how we go from Richard Sherman to Tim Tebow. No, I mean
people at home are trying to track. Like, wait a minute. Okay, so we're here. Okay, I'm following.
Wait a minute. Manziel, Te'o, Tebow. It's literally a meme team.
It literally is. Pick any player that's failed out of football, and you can We're probably going to hit on him.
Before we get to Sherman, I do believe, you know what, with the T-Book keeps playing like he is, you're going to have to bring him up. Because, you know what, the Mets, they are a playoff team. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, though,
it's going to be marketing. That's all
it's
it
all
is.
going to be his marketing.
That's all you're going to do.
When they signed him, it was marketing.
Well, yeah, of course. You don't sign Tim Tebow because you think he's a good player.
The only person that you heard a positive review from when he had his pro day for baseball was, who else? Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless needs to shut up.
Go back to Richard Sherman.
Right. Josh
because, him and Skip Bayless have a great relationship. So
Josh on Facebook says hashtag air quotes. Yeah. Yes. You're not wrong about that one, Josh. We're going to be air quoting basically everything the rest of the show, so hang on. Hold on to your pretty little hat there, Josh. It's going to get quotey real fast up in here.
That's the best kind of air quoting.
Exactly. It's going to get real quotey. What was it? Austin Powers? Doesn't that guy Mr. Like, I don't know what he says, but I know he does something, and I can't think what it is.
A laser.
Oh, that's right. It's like I can see it, but I can't.
I can read the whole Austin Powers script all day.
Oh my gosh, you would.
Minus 22.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman's asking price minus 32.
What are you going to pay for Richard Sherman? You're the GM of the Chicago Bears. What are you giving up if you want? If
I'm Richard Sherman,
if Seattle came to you,
if I'm Ryan Pace, I am not giving him this year's first round pick. I'm giving the following year's first round pick, and then maybe.
Really? You'd give up a first rounder for Richard Sherman and be okay with that?
Not this upcoming
year. I know that,
yeah.
but I'm saying you'd be okay with that, though.
He's performed. He's never downgraded. I mean,
True.
you know what? Here's the thing. You can say what you want about his price of his contract. Mm-hmm. And also, like a lot of people don't know, he always stays on one side of the field.
It's true. Packers didn't throw against him when Jordy Nelson was over there.
Yeah.
We all know how that went out.
I mean, that's that's probably been the biggest critique. But you know what? Hey, when the season ends, you look at his stats, he performs.
He's a phenomenal player. I do think he's a product of the system, though.
That you could say that too.
I mean, you got Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas sitting behind you playing safeties. I mean, I wouldn't throw the ball in 25 yards of the Seattle defense if I had mine. I'd be like, run the ball every play.
Yeah.
No more passing.
In terms of the Saints, who are the favorites, though, I mean, you're probably going to trade a first-round pick because you don't have a player.
Yeah,
you don't have a player
you have
worth.
to, don't you?
I mean, if I'm the Saints, I'm going to try my best to negotiate second-rounder. Because you what you gave up for that what you gave up to get the 32nd pick.
True.
That's a pretty.
And you got rid of Brandon Cooks. Drew Brees is literally sitting on his couch going like, "Come on, guys! Like, who am I supposed to throw the ball to?"
Drew Brees is sitting on his couch going, "Okay, so who's the next quarterback I'm just going to mentor because clearly I'm never going to get another ring."
He's like, "Guys, like, you just go into the front office draft day and be like, trade me. I will go play to Denver. Drew Brees on the Broncos." With real wide receivers to throw the ball to? Woo-hoo!
Well, they're actually a decent defense.
Or Drew Brees to the Jaguars, throwing a young Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson.
Well, with how the Jaguars sign every single free agent every summer.
Healthy Jaguars defense.
Yeah. With how the Jaguars sign every single name person every year in free agency, I don't think they could afford Drew Brees.
Maybe not. But, I mean, wouldn't that be the sweetest thing, though? Like, if you hear Drew Brees traded on draft day. That would be crazy. I don't think you'd do it, though.
Would you trade a first-round pick for it, though?
Okay,
Drew Brees or Richard Sherman for a first-round pick. Keep in mind, Drew Brees maybe has 3 years left.
I mean, who to what team, though, I guess. That's the conversation you got to have,
Jacksonville. And keep in mind, they have the 4th pick.
They do have the 4th pick. Oh, my gosh, a 4th overall pick for Drew Brees or a 4th overall pick for Richard Sherman?
Or you can draft Leonard Fournette.
I think both of the. Oh God, that's a great start-sit cut right there.
I need to go on this quick rant. This is like why. Even though I'm a Bear fan, and I'm very disappointed that we're in the 3rd overall selection, because when we got John Fox, Mr. Fix-It-All, and here we sit. Their defense is gonna be good if they can stay healthy. And now, even though we have Mike Glennon,
stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
The air quotes are hot and heavy today.
Yeah, and if Kevin White can stay healthy, 7th overall pick, that's going great. But this draft, I'm super excited for because, like I said. Trubisky, he's gone from second overall. Yeah, he's gone from the second overall pick for the 49ers to.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's a good luck.
Because some people say, oh yeah, no, Kirk. They'll get Kirk eventually. They're not going to get Kirk Cousins.
You're
not going to get Cousins.
Kirk, we love you, Kirk.
Kirk.
Kirk Cousins. We love you so much.
I just feel like at the end of the day, that's why I'm just super excited for this draft. I mean, the only pick. And I'm going to say this until the draft happens. The only pick that should be for sure is Myles Garrett to the Browns.
Figure it out after that because we sure as hell don't know.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah,
what?
I get that.
I mean, and I can honestly see the Browns. You know what? They have the first pick and the 12th pick. I can see them trading for another pick in the first round. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Just
You
trade
need it.
everybody in.
You
trade
need it.
everybody. You think they're going to trade Brock on draft day?
Not for a first rounder.
Somebody be like, 7th rounder. Here you go. Why not? We'll cut him. We'll cut our losses.
That's when Denver's like, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll get Brock back.
They really never should
Wouldn't
get
that be
rid of him.
bittersweet? Brock goes back with that giant contract he always wanted.
Yeah. Joe says Captain Kirk or
John Elway clearly has lost his mind, which he hasn't because he's a genius. Apparently.
maybe John Elway should come out of retirement and play quarterback.
It's probably a better option than Brock Osweiler.
Or Trevor Siemian. Johnny Manziel in Denver, though. Why not?
I would sign Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's trying to come back. He's trying to play for the Saints, I thought. Wasn't that a big deal for a
No,
while?
him and Sean Payne just had lunch.
They were just-
I'm sorry, breakfast.
Kicking the tires, as John Payton
They just
said.
had a meal.
Remember when I just had a meal?
Yeah.
Like when you just hang out with with a friend, like with a girl. Like I'm just gonna go hang out. Like, We've all just hung out before, Charlie.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not about me right now, Charlie. It's about you.
So really quick, back to the task at hand. What do you trade for Richard Sherman?
If I'm the Green Bay Packers, I've gone out and said this before.
They need a deep back.
I would give the Seahawks a 2nd round overall draft pick, and I would give them Randall Cobb.
That's fair.
And I would walk away from that and be like,
That is a fair statement that I would agree with.
thank you.
Yes.
Thought long and hard about that. Lost a
Now,
lot of sleep.
But now here's the question I have to ask you
Oh,
about
boy.
that.
Okay.
It's been pretty well established that the Packers locker room at times can be one side or the other.
Janky.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty well known that Ted Thompson does not like when news gets out.
Yeah.
But do you think how would Richard Sherman adapt to that locker room?
Richard Sherman is going to have a conversation with, Aaron Rodgers. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you need to be able to know when to put your guys in your place. And Richard Sherman, I think, would benefit from having a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson is a great guy. Right. Great quarterback. Takes some really awkward, maternity pictures with his wife. But, aside from that, great person. Aaron Rodgers would actually be the guy that could put him in his place.
Okay, that's not our task at hand. What picture is more awkward? Jay Cutler's wife's picture or Russell Wilson's picture?
I feel like Russell Wilson's picture is way more awkward. It's a little, it's one thing to have, the picture of, Jay, you see his butt, okay, that's great, but there's a lot going on in that Wilson family picture. There's way too much going on for me personally. You don't see anything, but still, it's too much. Too awkward. No thank you. Take a hard pass. What would you give up as a Bears fan? What would you give up for Richard Sherman?
Unless you can get, a first-round pick for the following year to give the Seahawks, nothing.
Really?
Because, yeah.
You don't have anybody on the Bears that you'd be like, yeah, I'm confident cutting you. And
in terms of our
trading you.
defense, no way. Maybe you can say Akeem Hicks because I know we just signed him, but I just think long term he's not the answer. And then that's nothing against him; he's a great player. But I think long term he's not the answer. Yeah, but their linebacking core for the Bears is amazing. They have their middle line. Okay, they run a 3-4, so you have two Mikes on the field.
Sure,
but. When Danny Trevathan went down for the season, their rookie Nick Kwiatkowski, came in and surprised everyone. Or no, sorry, because I'm a Bear fan, surprised everyone.
Ooh,
he really
surprised
did.
everybody. Totally unexpected.
But no, if I'm a Bear fan, you could have said, honestly, it probably would have been Alshon Jeffrey, but he's gone.
Well, who else do you trade if you're Chicago? You're not going to trade one of your running backs, are you? Seattle doesn't need a running back.
Oh, you said New Orleans was the head favorite. Who are the other favorites right now?
The other head, Green Bay was hanging on there. Oakland's another one as well,
right.
too, that's been sitting around. I don't remember the rest of the teams off the top of my head. Josh said that he would consider giving up a 2nd round and maybe a 4th round conditional pick. I don't know. I could almost feel like Josh should have put that in that last part, and maybe a 4th round conditional pick, maybe if they're into it.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Would you? Is there a true player for player trade if you're Richard Sherman? If you're another team, what does Seattle need? That they could be we'll give you this, we'll give you Richard Sherman if you give us this player. Who even matches up? I don't know.
The only people are probably gonna say I shouldn't say this, but Doug Baldwin, he's a pretty good wide receiver they have for him.
Baldwin's terrible.
Well, for the okay, like you said, he's a system guy. I feel like in the Seahawks system, he's not
system
that bad.
guy. Correct.
Yeah. So I feel like if you're gonna trade Richard Sherman, that you should try to get a top tier wide receiver out of it.
Sure.
But in the case of, I say you try to get one that's matching Sherman's age.
Right. If the Bears are chatting with the Seahawks and they say, all right, I would have been Alshon Jeffrey. Would you have done the Jeffrey for Richard Sherman trade?
Yes.
And you figured it out in the draft
Jeffrey
after that?
was a great wide receiver, but the last 2 seasons he was becoming a problem because he couldn't stay healthy and also he had his PED issues.
Well, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to have those off-field issues, that's ultimately going to kill your stock.
And the thing that makes that even more fact is the fact that, okay, supposedly he was this close to re-signing with the Bears.
This close.
But then Philadelphia signed him. Okay.
How do you be that close and still get signed?
For a team,
Somebody dropped the ball.
team that is so desperate to get to the to actually keep going after they drafted Carson Wentz.
Sure.
Why would you sign him for 1 year? Why would you agree to a 1-year deal?
Yeah.
Because you want to go out there and prove yourself. Because I guarantee you, he's going to go out this season. Like I said, my first week on the show, he's going to go out. He's going to destroy defenses. Well, he's going to try to. And then I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, I'm going to leave Philadelphia and go get a mega contract.
See ya.
So
Joe on Facebook just says yes. Thank you, Joe. Yes to
thanks,
you.
Joe. Just yes.
Hope your Tuesday's going well, Joe. Yes to you.
Just yes.
What do you say to that? I mean, when people comment just one word, like I get if people agreed, okay, oh great, I agree with what I'm saying, but just yes.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot, Joe. I can't just have you say yes and me understand what you're
No.
Give me the context, Joe. Help a brother out here.
I know Joe, and he's probably the second closest guy I know when it comes to Bears football, other than my father.
Oh,
Sorry,
so
Joe.
he's probably just saying yes to what you're saying.
No, because he knows, because this is discussions we've had in the past. Alshon, when we got Alshon Jeffrey a couple years ago in the second round,
that was huge.
It was a steal. But I'm sorry. I mean, when you have those issues in the background,
you can't expect anybody to really want to keep you. I mean, if you got those kind of issues, nobody in their right mind is going to try to keep you.
I mean, look at Brandon Marshall. He turned his life around, and there's still demand for him out there.
Oh, okay. And Joe says that he would do. He's saying yes to the Sherman Alshon trade.
Yeah.
Okay, I think a lot of people would say yes to that.
Yeah.
You
but we
draft
can't do
a couple
it now.
of young guys. Well, yeah, duh. Philly's probably sitting out there going, no, I don't know if anybody would ever do a player for player. Like if I'm trying to think from a Green Bay perspective, I don't think Randall Cobb for Richard Sherman is a true thing because Randall Cobb's not a true wide receiver.
There's definitely needs to be some draft picks involved in that.
Yeah, Ted Thompson would be like, sure, but Ted Thompson loves his draft picks though. That's why I don't feel like that deal would actually happen at the end of the day.
No, he loves. He loves his draft picks when it comes. Oh wait, your third contract's coming up. You wanted the third contract? Nah.
No.
Later.
We're good.
Yep.
We'll take a hard pass and
then for Chicago. Oh wait, you've had pretty much only 5 games under your belt. You haven't played in 2 years because you're the backup to Jameis Winston. We'll give you $45 million. Yeah. $45 million.
Seems like a right idea.
Yeah. $45 million.
$45 million for the giraffe.
Giraffe.
Yes, that makes so much more sense.
The Chicago Bears now have a giraffe on the squad.
Has the giraffe had its baby yet on Facebook? Have you seen about that? I don't even know. There's somebody's live streaming some zoo, some giraffe that's been trying Coco the giraffe, or I don't even know, some random weird name for a giraffe. Well, I don't know. People have been on Giraffe Watch for a decade now.
Well, people should be live streaming this show on one tab
and
then the giraffe on the other.
The content on Facebook is so good, I have to watch the giraffe birth because I don't want to miss it, but I want to make sure I also hear, would you trade a giraffe for Richard Sherman? That's the conversation that needs to have happening.
But you know what? If the giraffe birth does eventually happen during one of your shows, make sure in our little ticker at the bottom you put the giraffe.
New giraffe.
Yep.
Cleveland has signed Coco the giraffe baby.
At quarterback.
You can see the defense, see the field.
Yep. Coco giraffe and Brock Osweiler to compete this summer.
Yeah, just in.
Osweiler doesn't show up.
Oh my gosh, they're really sticking their neck out for that pick, though. We'll have to
keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this entire conversation about giraffes, Facebook, Tebow, Skip Bayless, Menzel, Teo. It's all because of Richard Sherman.
We started at Richard Sherman, and the rest of the show is just kind of spewed off from there. Josh says, quality signing in air quotes. I like it, Josh. I like where you're going with this.
Any Brown signing is a quality signing.
That's true. Jeff Adams commenting on here says, Hola. Hola to you, Jeff. ¿Cómo estás? Hope your day is muy bien. I mean, he says hola. You got to get after him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's happy hour.
It is. It's happy hour. We're almost done on the air, but, we've been asking people what their thoughts are about what they would trade on their favorite football team for Richard Sherman since he has been the hot topic. I've been making the argument saying that the Packers should trade a second-round draft pick in Randall Cobb or a first overall pick, which isn't going to happen. But second-round draft pick, Randall Cobb, you said, first overall pick next year for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, or our first-round pick. Not the if you have the first overall pick next year,
Charlie's
we're in trouble. Well, there goes another coach.
I know. John Fox. We knew him once. Oh, well. Sad day for John Fox.
Yep.
What's a realistic idea for the Bears this year? Are they going to do anything? They're going to get
You know what? I
some
mean,
points.
Like reports say, people predict them to go 7-9. I honestly can see them doing that, only because.
Are you okay with 7-9?
I am okay.
Okay.
Because you know what? Here's the thing, though. In this type of year where John Fox and Ryan Pace, I mean, I like them both. I mean, John Fox, say what you will, he's a good coach. He's had success wherever he goes. Ryan Pace, when he became the Bears general manager, everyone's like, this is the guy. You know what I mean? Because everyone knows like what he did in New Orleans and all that stuff. Like, I mean, sure,
very successful.
Yeah, sure. They might have only won one Super Bowl.
Still won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Still counts.
And years after they won it, they were still in contention.
Yeah.
So
I know they traded away the entire team.
Except for Drew Brees.
Love Drew Brees.
Which they should know.
He just does push-ups on his kitchen floor with his kids on his back.
Yep. Never get another ring, so.
I know. Might as well flex my back muscles to carry New Orleans.
The Bears can go 7-9. It's really all going to depend on if the defense can stay healthy. Jordan Howard was the steal of the draft, in my opinion, last year.
Yeah.
1,300 yards.
What an amazing running back. Holy cow.
It seems like every time the Bears draft a running back in the second round, unless his name's Walter Payne, he's going to steal the show. And Gale Sayers, too.
Wow.
That was like 30, 40 years ago. So. But no.
Two great guys.
And at the end of the day, though, I mean, Alshon's gone, but at the end of the day, it's all going to depend on one man. It's Mike Glennon.
Mike the Giraffe Glennon.
Yep.
And Coco. Everybody loves Coco.
Yep. But no, I just, you know what? It's all going to depend on Mike Glennon because, like I've said, you have him for 3 years.
Yep.
The first year is essentially like you're going to pay him all he's guaranteed. So if it goes bad, okay, we can draft a quarterback. I mean, like, I believe CBS Sports today.
Yeah.
They're saying now that the Bears could actually draft Trubisky out of North Carolina. Which it's like, where did that come from?
Why not? Why not?
Why not? I mean, if you're going to draft a quarterback, I say draft Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I'm looking here at CBS Sports right now. They've got Jamal Adams, Jonathan Lattimore. I mean, they've got basically all defensive players here, at least on the CBS draft that I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. But nobody knows until the draft cards are in the hand and the commissioner's up there on the stage. So I wish everybody the best of luck.
It's definitely going to be interesting because, like, at the end of the day, though, it's like you don't know where all these quarterbacks should they go. But for the Bears case, you know what?
True.
I say, you know what? If you feel that Mike Glennon is not the answer, but he's just more of a transition guy, I say why not?
Why not?
As a Bear fan, why not? What else do we have to lose?
That's the big thing right there, honestly.
Okay, here's the thing. In the last 40 years now, okay, I'm going to get my numbers right. 30, sorry. I'm not good at math. The White Sox have won a championship. The Bulls have won 6. Blackhawks have won 3. They're going to add 4 this year. And the Cubs have won a title. Chicago, the Bears.
I say, Mike, Chicago's
the Bears,
fine.
They're now at the bottom of like the championship. Like, oh yeah, we haven't won one in like forever.
And to make matters even worse, even their MLS team has won a championship since the Bears won a Super Bowl. The only thing they're competing against right now is the women's soccer team, the Chicago Red Stars. So the Bears and the Red Stars, who's going to win a championship
Have the Chicago
first?
Sky won one?
That's right. They have a WNBA team, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Gosh, Chicago is everything.
They have probably the best player in the WNBA too.
Oh my gosh. I don't understand.
But yeah, I mean it's just one of those things like where it all comes down to the Bears have never had a stable quarterback.
True, and that's going to be the curse until the day they die, unfortunately.
Last quarterback we had that was good. Well, I mean, I love Jim McMahon, but it wasn't Jim McMahon. It was Sid Luckman. And that was in the 40s.
Hey man, bring him back. I'm sure he's still hanging around.
Dig him up.
Josh says anything is possible in the NFC North. 7-9 is absolutely achievable. I agree with that. Anything can happen on any given day. I mean, that's always a tight division for quality teams that love to beat the heck out of each other.
Speaking of the NFC North, I mean, obviously you're talking little Packers. I'm talking obviously the Bears. But
of course.
What about the Lions? To my mind, they are the most unpredictable team this year.
That is always. I mean, the Lions even last year were the unpredictable team. They almost won the NFC North last year.
Right.
I mean, nobody saw that coming. Everybody thought it was going to be Minnesota storming past Green Bay, and then suddenly Teddy Bridgewater happened. Sam Bradford came in, didn't tear anything, thankfully, but Detroit is still a very, very shockingly lost that prop bet. But like. What do you say if you're the Detroit Lions going into this year? They got the 21st pick overall in the draft. They lost Calvin Johnson last year, of course. So, yeah, they're going to be good. They're going to contend, but it's Detroit, kind of like Cleveland. They're going to let you down. They're going to build you up just to break your heart again. That's just the tale of the Detroit Lions, I feel like. That's not a pun about their.
And Matthew Stafford's contract's not that far from being up.
Do you think he goes?
No.
No? They're going to re-sign him? Keep him in the Motor City for life?
They are going to offer him every single penny they have. He's going to be like Drew Brees.
Rightfully so.
He's going to be their Drew Brees, but he needs a ring. He's a quarterback. I'd be like, he needs a ring.
The Lions winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's going to be weird if that happens, too.
What kind of a world would we live in? I have no answer for that.
Would you rather have Detroit win the Super Bowl or Cleveland win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Even when the Cavs won, it was like, that's weird.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I don't even know who I'd prefer. I just call it a tie.
I mean, you have to keep in mind, though. I mean, we can make all the jokes we want about Cleveland. They're on the right. The Cavs won.
Yeah, they're on the rise.
Indians went to the World Series.
Hard to argue against Cleveland right now.
Yeah, Indians went to the World Series and lost to the Cubs. But
yeah,
see,
no, you're not wrong about that. I mean,
really,
we'll see what Chicago
It's funny
does.
how Game 7, in my mind, I mean, sure, I might be a little biased as being I love the Cubs, but like even some people have said that Game 7 of the World Series is one of the greatest baseball games ever because just of the story.
It was beautiful.
You know, I mean, you know, everyone knew, okay, wait, Chapman's coming out. Okay, after the third pitch, you know they know what he's throwing now.
Yeah.
And, of course, when it goes to extra innings, you know, of course, who do they show on the screen? They show LeBron James after the home run. That's when you lost the game. That's
all
when
LeBron's
the Indians.
fault.
That's when the.
It's all LeBron's fault.
Yeah, because you know he's an Indians fan. Okay, how many Indians games has he been to compared to the Yankees?
Right. Doesn't make sense.
Always
to me.
wearing the Cowboys gear and Yankees gear. So
Gotta love it. Got to love it. All right, well, Charlie, we got to get the heck out of here, unfortunately. Happy hour is always a good time, but it is coming to a close, unfortunately.
What a
So
shame.
we got to run out of here. Special thanks to everybody that's been commenting and tuning in today as well, too. Jeff, John, Josh, all of you great people that have been tuning in and sharing and all that great stuff. We love hearing from all of you.
you too, Joe.
Remember Joe? You too, Joe. I'm sure.
Remember Joe.
Remember Joe. Oh, we love Joe. I don't actually love Joe. No, Joe's a nice guy. But Charlie will be back here on Thursday as well, too. So if you love Charlie and once a week isn't enough, you can get him on Thursday as well, too, with him and Barry Nelson here on Happy Hour. So get on that train if you're all about that Charlie team. Hashtag Team Charlie. We love Charlie.
Thank
Get
you.
on board.
Appreciate it.
But we're excited to see what this NFL season has to come up, of course. Tim, I'm assuming is your father, Tim O'Donnell.
Yes, he is.
This is nice. What's with all these one-word comments? Yes. Nice. Hola.
Hola.
You people are terrible. Like, we
They're
love
not
you all,
terrible.
but, like, give us something to work with here, people. Like, you're all just nice.
Thanks, dude.
Oh, my gosh. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching Happy Hour. We'll see you guys back
Thank you
here
for
tomorrow
watching.
on Brew Sports. Happy Hour will be back here at 5 Eastern, 4 Central, and the rest of Brew Sports kicks off tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time on the Morning Brew. Make sure to tune in. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. This has been Happy Hour. Enjoy your Tuesday.